Welcome. Care in the Corner is expanding and creating a program called Arts Today in NJ, where children can express themselves artistically on a safe platform. We first met in February 2020 and had plans to do several performances in 2020. Then, of course, the world changed. Like most of you, I had some time on my hands in early spring and wrote a play that we thought we would perform live in the late fall. When it started to look like that was not going to happen, we changed gears and made the play more like an old-fashioned radio show. So without further ado, I present The Story of a Christmas Carol Miracle. Hello, welcome to our play entitled The Story of a Christmas Carol Miracle, a story of greed and redemption. We open with
Act 1, Scene 1, Interior Newsroom. A radio host is sitting behind a news desk.
Breaking news. We bring you all the breaking news all day, every day here on Nazareth Radio. It has finally happened, folks. The news you have all been waiting for. The birth of the century has happened to the most perfect couple in the known universe, Joseph and Mary. Mary has given birth today, December 25th, in Stable Hospital in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. This is the most significant birth that the world has been waiting for. Rumor has it that the name will be Jesus, and as we wait for some more information, let's dive into the history of this couple and how wonderful they are.
Scene 2. At the same time, interior high-rise office building, top floor. The radio is on and this newscast is playing as we zoom in on a man standing by a window looking over the city. He is a medium-height man, older, late 60s, but instead of standing straight, his shoulders are hunched over like from years of sitting hunched over a desk. He is listening to the news story.
Humbug, it has finally happened. The potential highest to all my money has been born. My nephew's wife was never supposed to be able to have children. They're saying that he's a miracle baby. Is he from science or from God? Who knows? All I know is that I don't want him to have my money.
Intercom voice picks up. It is Scrooge's assistant, Bob Cratchit.
Yes, Mr. Scrooge? Bob Cratchit, get in my office immediately.
Cratchit enters the scene. He is a small man with a tired but kind face. He has been working tirelessly for Scrooge for years. He has never received a raise or health insurance in all of that time.
It has happened. The child has been born. Oh, that is wonderful. I have been waiting all day to hear about that. Silence!
Cratchit sinks down his face at the command.
I need for you to send my 3 lawyers, the Wise Men Law Group. Right away, Mr. Scrooge. Yes, this is the way to go. I'll send my lawyers to Bethlehem and have this problem taken care of.
Scene 3. Later that day, in the same office building, now in the conference room. Scrooge and Cratchit are sitting in the conference room waiting for the lawyers. Enters the 3 lawyers from the 3 Wise Men law firm.
Good afternoon, Mr. Scrooge. We heard the news about your great-nephew being born. Congratulations.
Yes, that is what the meeting is about. I want you to get started right away. This child poses a serious threat to my empire. I want you to go to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania right away to meet with my nephew, his wife, and a new son to deal with this problem.
I am confused, Mr. Scrooge. You see this child as a threat?
Yes, unfortunately. There's a clause in the will that states that any heirs to my nephew will get the fortune when he turns 18. I thought it was never an issue. My nephew's wife was never supposed to be able to have children, so I thought I was safe.
So, are you looking for us to have Joseph sign something so that the child does not inherit the money?
Actually, no. Your law firm how do I say this? Has a reputation for taking care of things permanently. I want this part of your service you provide.
The three lawyers look at each other with wide eyes. The law firm was really not doing this anymore. They have been going in more legitimate law practices in the last 10 years.
Mr. Scrooge, we have always appreciated your business all these years, but we cannot, in good faith, do something to an innocent child.
I am a very powerful man. I could ruin your law firm and destroy your family if you don't take care of this. I want this done by the end of the week. Do you understand?
The lawyers start gathering their things, understanding that they have no choice. They have all families.
Yes, Mr. Scrooge, we understand. You will hear from us soon.
As they leave, Cratchit looks down, having a look of sickness crossing his face. Scrooge gets up and looks over the city again, smiling maniacally down at the city.
Scene 4. Across the city at the Three Wise Men Law Group offices.
Are we really going to do this? Kill an innocent child?
We have to. You heard him. He'll ruin us and hurt our families. Let's make plans to fly to Bethlehem tomorrow on Camel Airlines.
Let's bring some presents for the family. Expensive things. Maybe to bribe them so that we can take care of this without killing.
Good idea. We still have that gold bar in the safe that we got from the Sheik a few years ago.
Yes, and that new great cooking spice from Bobby Flay, frankincense.
Good. Now we just need one more thing. Oh, I know. How about that expensive perfume, myrrh, for Mary?
Perfect.
Scene 5. The next day at Stable Hospital in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Paging Dr. White. Dr. White, call your office. Dr. White, call your office.
Which room is the family in? This hospital is a maze.
Wait, I think it's this way. This hallway is so bright.
The wise men following the extremely lit to a room, almost as if it was a light leading in them to the family. There is a picture of a gold star on the door. They enter the room. Mary is cooing over her new son, Jesus. Many people have come and gone already to meet the new baby, who has stolen American hearts. There is just something special about him the people could not put their finger on, and the wise men lawyers felt it immediately. This child is special. The wise men fell down on their knees in front of Mary and her child.
Hello, we are from the Three Wise Men Law Firm Group. Your husband's uncle sent us with malicious intent to your child.
Just then, Joseph comes into the room. He heard what the lawyer had said.
I knew that my Uncle Scrooge was not going to be happy with my son born, but I didn't think he would go this far because of his dang money. We don't want anything to do with him or his money.
We had a feeling you might feel this way, but he is very insistent and dangerous.
However, your child is special and is going to do great things. We are going to leave you alone. You are in no danger from us. But be very wary of your uncle.
The wise men leave the gifts they brought and exit the hospital. They have decided not to call Scrooge. They are going to their families and close their law firm and going to hiding.
Act 2, Scene 1. The same evening at Scrooge's house.
The day after Scrooge talked to the wise men, he felt content that the men were going to take care of the Jesus problem. He decided to go home a little earlier that night. As he got to the door of his townhouse, a mix-up came over the area, and his door knocker turns into the face of an old partner from his brokerage firm that had died years ago, Jacob Murley. Scrooge is startled and jumps back, almost falling down the stairs. And then as soon as he came on, the face disappeared and all was the same as it was.
Humbug.
Scrooge climbed the steps into his townhouse to the second floor. He was not hungry at all after the incident at the door and just wanted to go upstairs and settle in for the night. He did not light any lights as he made his way up. He had installed little motion lights with batteries along the stair rail. They were cheap and did the job. He made his way into his bedroom. Here, though, he turned on the lights. Scrooge's bedroom was simple and cold. He was not one to spend his money on extravagant decorating. He hung up his coat and then dressed in more comfortable clothing. He decided to stay up a bit and read, to get his mind off of what happened outside earlier. Scrooge opened his candle to begin to read, the one luxury item he owned. A slight noise happened in the house. Thump. He looked up from his candle and listened. Nothing.
My ears are playing tricks on me. Just the house settling.
The noise happened again. Thump. Then again. Thump. Scrooge threw down the candle on the end table and got up at his door. Thump. Thump. The noise was coming closer to his door. Scrooge backed away and went into the side behind the bed. The door flew open and burst the wind blew in, followed by a ghostly figure. Scrooge screamed in terror. Ah! The figure stopped in the middle of the room and raised a skeleton-looking finger at Scrooge. The figure had heavy chains draped all over him.
Ebenezer Scrooge.
Scrooge looked at the figure. He could not believe it. It was his dead partner.
Jacob Marley? Is that really you?
Yes, Scrooge, it is me. I was sent here to give you a message. You are doomed, Scrooge, if you don't change your ways.
Doomed? Marley, what do you mean? Speak comfort to me. What are these chains wrapped around you?
The chains are forged on what you do in life. You wear chains yourself. The amount of chains you have depends on how you live your life. I was a corrupt, greedy, uncaring towards my fellow men. My chains wear me down. I have been a witness of your life since I died, Ebenezer. Your wicked ways are getting worse, and your chains are growing by leaps and bounds. However, there is still a chance you can save your soul. That is why I'm here, Scrooge.
Tell me, Marley, how can I escape these terrible chains that you have?
You will be visited by 3 ghosts tonight. Listen to them. Learn from them. Only then do you have a chance to save your soul. Expect the first ghost when the clock strikes 1.
Can't I meet them all at once and be done with it?
Marley starts fading away.
Expect the first ghost when the clock strikes 1.
Marley, wait, don't leave me. Marley!
The figure of Jacob Marley is gone. Scrooge is alone again in his bedroom, looking around, trying to believe if that really just happened. Scrooge looks at the clock. It is 11:30. He hears Jacob's voice in his head. Expect the first ghost when the clock strikes 1. Scrooge climbs into his bed, staring at the clock, but slowly his eyes close and he falls asleep.
Scene 2. Later that night. Interior Scrooge's bedroom. 12:59 a.m.
Nothing. All that was just a dream.
All of a sudden, Scrooge can hear a loud car honking over and over. It was relentless and not letting up.
Wow. That is annoying. Why won't the person come out and greet the person honking?
Scrooge goes down the stairs to his front door to see what is going on. He opens the front door. The honking is still going on.
God, buddy, do you know what time it is?
As Scrooge looks out, he sees a lot of mist, and as it clears, he sees one of those old-fashioned taxi cabs from like the 1980s New York. The driver's side door is open, and a scraggly-looking man steps out with one of those old-fashioned cab driver's hat on, and he is smoking a cigar.
Hi, Scrooge. I do know what time it is. It is time for us to visit your past.
You're the ghost.
I'm the ghost. Get in.
Scene 3. We are now in the interior of the cab.
Hang on tight.
The ghost starts the cab and begins driving crazy down the street. He blows a cigar smoke, and the cab disappears into the cloud.
Slow down. Where are we going? This is crazy. Where are you taking me?
Not where, Scrooge, but when.
The cab pulls up to a mansion-looking building. It is dark and gloomy. It looks like it is shut down, but there is a little light on the second floor.
Recognize what place this is?
I can't believe it.
Scrooge gets out of the cab and is standing on the sidewalk looking up at the building.
This is my old prep school. This place was turned down years ago. How are we looking at it?
Because we are in the past, your past specifically. It is Christmas Eve. You are 10 years old. The place is closed for holiday except you and one of your caretakers who lives on the other side of the building. Let's go take a look.
Scrooge and the ghost go into the building and go up to Scrooge's room. There we see a young Ebenezer Scrooge sitting at the desk reading a book.
This was me. Wow, I was often alone. I preferred it. Time for more studies and reflect on what I had learned.
As Scrooge states this, he is trying to be friendly about it, but he is looking at the young boy with sad eyes.
Let's take a look at another Christmas.
As the ghost says this, time goes by, but nothing really changes except for Scrooge and the prep school getting older.
They were all the same. Nothing changed but me.
The caretaker who had been taking care of Scrooge all these years comes into the room. Scrooge looks about 20 years old.
Ebenezer, it is the final time for you to leave this place. You have received a wonderful paid internship at a brokerage firm in the city. You can get an apartment and begin the next chapter of your life.
The caretaker turns and leaves. As he gets outside the door, he turns back into the room. Young Scrooge does not see him, but old Scrooge does, and hears him say under his breath,
Poor kid, no one cared for him. They dropped him off at this place and never looked back. Well, hopefully he can make something of himself in this world. I did what I could, and hopefully arranging this internship for him will give him a chance in this world.
Wow. Mr. Sawyer arranged for my internship? I never knew that. I thought he hated me. I was a burden he was stuck with.
As Sawyer walks away, older Scrooge watches him with a slight hopeful look on his face. Someone actually cared for him. The ghost of the Christmas past looked over at Scrooge. He blew his cigar smoke and they were back in the cab.
Where are we going?
You'll see.
Scene 4. Interior of the cab. The ghost and Scrooge are back in the cab looking up a tall skyscraper building.
Scrooge and the ghost of Christmas past go into the building. They go up to the roof. There is a big Christmas party happening.
Wait, this is my building. Who authorized this party? There's no parties allowed.
This is not your building yet. This is a Christmas party in the past. They always had parties back then. You were the one that stopped all that when you took over. Look, there you are.
The ghost pointed to a young 20-something Scrooge walking through the party with a worried, shy face. It looks like he was looking for someone. Young Scrooge walks past older Scrooge and the ghost. He looks like he found who he was looking for. Young Scrooge walks up to an older man who has a Santa hat on and talking to a man a little older than Scrooge's age and a young woman.
Mr. Henderson, I was just looking over the books. Do you know how much money the firm is spending on this party?
Nonsense. No worries for that. Christmas is once a year. It is a time for generosity and to award your workers with some fun and cheer after the long year. Isn't that right, Marley?
Henderson looks over to the other man, who is frowning.
I was telling the same thing to Mr. Marley here. Wow, you and him really do think alike.
Young Scrooge and young Jacob Marley look over at each other with a knowing look between them. They had been discussing earlier that day about how much this party was costing.
Scrooge, I do not believe you have met my niece, Belle.
Young Scrooge shakes his head no and then shakes her hand.
You remember this meeting?
Remember it? Absolutely. I have never met anyone like her before. I fell in love with her immediately.
Let's take a look at another Christmas with this woman.
No, please. Anything but that.
The ghost blows a cigar and the scene changes. Same place, but different time. Scrooge is a little older now and has his own office, and he is working on his computer. When his secretary comes in and tells him he has a guest, Scrooge looks up and in walks Belle.
What is it, Belle? I am working.
Ebenezer,
I am tired of waiting for you to marry me. You said when you got your own office in the firm, we would get married.
Belle, we're still not financially secured. I want to wait till that happens.
Ebenezer, you will never be satisfied financially. It has been years. You have plenty of money now. I do not want to wait any longer to start my life. Goodbye, Ebenezer. I do hope you find some sort of happiness in your life. I am going to go find mine.
Belle walks out of the office and slams the door. Older Scrooge watches Belle walk out of his life again, as younger Scrooge just frowns and goes back to his spreadsheets.
So, you let a good thing walk out of your life for money, huh?
I was foolish, arrogant. I thought I needed to be on top of the world to be worthy of her, but all she wanted was life, a family. I let her walk out of my life, and I turned to the business world even more for comfort. I was such a fool.
Scrooge sits down in his chair with his head down and starts to cry softly. The ghost of Christmas past looks at Scrooge with a knowing look. He did his job. He blows his cigar smoke, and now Scrooge is sitting on the bed in his bedroom. The ghost is gone. Scrooge continues to weep for his past and what he has lost. Soon, the clock strikes 2 a.m.
Scene 5. Interior, Scrooge's bedroom. We are still in Scrooge's bedroom.
Scrooge is still sitting on his bed when he hears a horn honking again. But this time the horn sounds a little bit different, more modern. He walks outside his townhouse and sees a different car. It is one of those Prius hybrid cars. The driver's side doors opens and out comes what only can be described as a hipster-looking young man. He is maybe in his late 20s, goatee beard, glasses, knit beanie hat, and has a scarf on.
Hi, Scrooge. I'm the ghost of Christmas present. I'm also an Uber driver. I will be your guide now. Would you please enter the vehicle?
Wow, you are such more polite than the ghost of Christmas past. Yes, I am ready to keep my journey, and I'm open to what you have to show me.
Great. Would you like some refreshments? There's a bottle of water beside you in the cooler.
The ghost starts the quiet car's engine and drives carefully down the road, their first destination.
Scene 6. The Prius pulls up into a more rundown part of the city. Tall apartment buildings are bunched together. There is trash on the street. The whole area looks sad, depressing, no hope.
Why have you taken me this part of town? It's quite dangerous here.
This is the part of town that your overworked, underpaid assistant lives, Scrooge. You can't afford to live anywhere else.
Bob Cratchit lives here? That can't be right. I pay him good salary.
The ghost and Scrooge walk into the tenant apartment building and ride a very sketchy elevator to the ninth floor of the building and walk down to the hallway to Bob Cratchit's door and enter the apartment. Inside the small yet cozy apartment, Scrooge sees a woman, presumably Mrs. Cratchit, putting a small pile of food on the round table in the corner of the apartment. The table has other pots and plates set up for a nice dinner. There are 3 children sitting on the couch watching TV and a small boy in the corner of the chair reading a book. Scrooge hears a sound behind him and the door opens, and Bob Cratchit enters the apartment. He looks exhausted.
Finally, you're home, Bob. We have waited for you to have Christmas Eve dinner.
I'm sorry, my love. I had to stay and finish this report for Mr. Scrooge. And then because of it being Christmas Eve, they changed the bus schedule and I had to wait longer for my bus.
Did you get the day off tomorrow?
Yes, I had to remind him it is a national holiday again, that everyone else is closed, including the stock market. And he let me have the day off. So, my dear, what kind of Christmas Eve feast do you have for us?
I am pretty impressed with myself. I got first pickings of the day-old bread, the cheese, and the meat ends. And I saved all my coupons from the meat section and got 2 chickens, one for tonight and one for tomorrow at a steal. So we will have a little chicken stew and sandwiches for tonight and chicken and vegetables for Christmas dinner. Plus, I got the end of the day deal from Dunkin' Donuts and got us some yummy donuts for dessert.
That is great. Kids, come to the table. Your mother has made us a great feast.
Cratchit looks toward the small boy sitting in the corner.
Come, Tiny Tim, it's time for dinner. Do you need me to help you?
No, Dad, I am good. I can make it.
As he was talking to the small boy, producer crushed from the side of their chair that Scrooge did not notice before, and he hobbled across the room to the table, struggling but with a smile on his face, excited for Christmas Eve dinner.
What is wrong with that boy?
A lot, I'm afraid, and Bob Cratchit doesn't have health insurance to get him the proper care he needs.
What? I pay him but minimum wage $10 an hour.
Scrooge, are you that out of it? You pay Cratchit very little and have not given him a cost of living raise in 10 years. He makes poverty level wage and he lives by himself. It could be different, but he has 4 children and a wife. Scrooge, minimum wage is now $15 an hour, and that's for fast food workers and low-level employees. The work you have Cratchit doing in the field you are in, he should make at least no less than $25 an hour with health insurance, a 401k, and an annual raise.
Why has Cratchit stayed all this time then?
The loyalty he feels for you. You gave him a shot when no one would years ago. However, now that his experience, he can get a much better job. But he's too tired now, too run down to do anything about it.
Scrooge is flabbergasted. He can't believe how out of touch he is. He looks over at the family, the meager feast they are eating, the bad neighborhood, and the rundown apartment they are living in. And he suddenly feels really bad at how he has treated his most loyal employee. The family sits and talks about Christmas and going to church in the morning. They are a loving family despite the hardship.
Dad, I want to make sure I give my dollar I have been saving all year in a collection plate for the poor. Even though we don't have a lot, we have more than other people, and I want to help those people.
Cratchit looks at his son and beams a prideful smile and nods his head, yes.
What a remarkable young boy. Is there hope for the child?
That is in the future. I am the present. But if events continue as they are, I see an empty chair in that corner. Come on, Scrooge, we have more to see.
Scrooge and the ghost leave the apartment and go back to the car.
Where's the next stop?
Oh, you'll see.
Scene 7. Now across town to Stable Hospital, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Paging Dr. White. Dr. White, call your office. Dr. White, call your office.
Scrooge and the ghost arrive at the hospital that Mary and Joseph just had their baby in. As they enter the room, Scrooge sees a star in the door. Then he sees his nephew and Mary sitting with the new baby on the bed.
What are you going to do about your Uncle Joseph? He is threatening to kill our child over some stupid money that we don't even want.
I know there was good in him, Mary. I still can't believe he sent those lawyers after us. I need to have faith that he will come around and listen to reason.
How can you have so much faith in him when no one else does? He does these horrible things.
I have to, Mary, because there is no one else, and because we have been blessed with this child. God has a plan for us and him. My uncle needs to see that. I will talk with him again. I feel that he still won't listen to reason. We'll run and go into hiding. But that's not the life I want for our son. He is special. He needs to be out in the world. People need to see him. People need to hear him. People like my uncle, so that the world could be a better place.
The ghost looks over to Scrooge, who is watching the scene play out in front of him with wide eyes. Scrooge cannot believe what his nephew was saying about him. He never really thought that Joseph liked him that much. No one has ever stood up for him or showed him that much love and kindness. He realizes now that people have been trying to help him all along his life. He just never took the time to notice. Hearing that Joseph still has faith in him, even after he sent men to kill his son, touches his heart like nothing ever has. He finally realizes that he needs to change.
I have been so wrong about people in the world. I thought I had to be cruel and hard to get ahead, that no one was going to ever show me kindness or assist me, and I had to do it all on my own. I see now what you have shown me. There's kindness in the world. People do like me and have looked out for me. I want to change my ways.
As Scrooge is saying this, the ghost of Christmas Present is starting to age and fade away. Scrooge looks over to him and notices what is happening.
Spirit, you grow old?
Yes, my time on Earth is very short. I will completely fade away when the clock strikes.
Spirit, you taught me and showed me so much. Please don't leave me.
I am glad I was able to help you, Scrooge, but now you must be ready to face the last ghost, the future.
As the clock strikes, the ghost fades away and Scrooge is back in his bedroom. He is anxious for the arrival of the last ghost.
Scene 8. We are still in Scrooge's bedroom.
As the clock strikes again for a new hour, Scrooge looks around the room, waiting. All of a sudden, there's a big, bright light, and suddenly a figure, the only word that can be used, is beamed to his bedroom. The ghost was standing on some sort of platform that was lit up with bright lights. He had some sort of controller in his hand. He was wearing a dark hooded shirt with a hood that came down low, obscuring most of his face, besides his chin and part of his mouth.
Hello, Scrooge.
Hello, what are you standing on? I've never seen anything like that before.
No, you wouldn't have, and you never will. I'm from a far-off future where this is how we travel. We call it transport pads. Now come on and stand on the pad next to me. We have a lot to see and not a lot of time to do it.
Scene 9. Scrooge's high-rise office building.
Scrooge stepped up to the platform and the ghost pressed the button on the controller, and both Scrooge and Ghost dematerialized from the bedroom and rematerialized into his boardroom of his building. Scrooge cannot believe what just happened, but the ghost was silent and just pointed at the people sitting at the boardroom table. There were 6. He recognized 5. Cratchit, his nephew Joseph, the Wise Man Group lawyers, but not the last man. They are all watching a newscast on a giant screen that is hanging from the wall in the middle of the table.
Breaking news. We bring you all the breaking news all day, every day here on Nazareth Radio. Tycoon billionaire Ebenezer Scrooge has died earlier this morning. I've never said this about anyone who has died, but I think I could speak for everyone listening that no one is going to mourn this man. He robbed from the rich and swindled from the poor, sometimes all before lunch. The only and big question here, folks, is what is going to happen to his company and his fortune.
Joseph shuts off the screen and turns to the other man sitting at the table.
Well, my uncle's dead. It is good to see the Wise Man Lawyer Group back from being in hiding. We have much to discuss about what to do with my uncle's estate. It has been some rough years with him and his actions against my family and to all of us sitting around this table. We have all suffered at his hands. Cratchit, you will never receive any type of raise. He worked you so hard you could never look for another job, and your son Tim died so young from the lack of health care you could not afford to give him. The Wise Man Group had been living in hiding in fear for all these years, losing clients, a normal way of life out of fear from him and myself. We were always in constant fear for our son Jesus and what my uncle was going to do to him. Whenever my son was born, I still had faith in my uncle and hoped that he would come around, but he never did. I am glad he is dead, and I hate him.
When Scrooge heard this, he got very upset and started to yell out to the men.
Oh my, I don't feel that way anymore, Joseph. I want to change and embrace life and family. Oh no. Tim died. Cratchit, no. I was going to assist you in getting the help he needed.
Scrooge yelled all of this out to deaf ears. No one in the room could hear him. He was in tears, pleading for them to know he is going to change.
They can't hear you, Scrooge.
Tell me, Spirit, is this the actual future or the future it could be if I don't change?
What do you think, Scrooge? Yes, this is the future that could be if you don't change your wicked ways.
Just then, the other man, who Scrooge did not recognize, stood up and looked like he wanted to say something. Scrooge then realized who this man must be, his great-nephew, Jesus.
Father, please do not talk that way. That is not the kind of man you are. You're kind, and you always see the best in people.
Son, I have tried, but he had made it impossible. Do you not hate him too?
No. Even after all he put our family through, he is still blood, and I could never hate him. It is too bad. He never received any kind of guidance in his life to show him a better way. He was mistreated as a child.
That is still no excuse.
No, it is not, but he was never shown kindness and love. He only knew power and hatred and money. As the direct heir to his fortune and estate, I know what I want to do with everything. I want this company and money to do right for the world. I still want to use Uncle Scrooge's name in hope that, in time, his name will be associated with giving and outreach instead of greed and corruption. And I would like for you, Bob Cratchit, to lead the company in that new charitable direction. Let's make something good out of all the evil that came from this company.
Wow, I'm speechless. Thank you, Jesus. I would be honored. Yes, that man treated me terribly, and I tried to get him to give to charities and support foundations that helped the downtrodden, but he never wanted to. My son Tim was like you, Jesus. He saw the good in people, and he never said a bad word about Mr. Scrooge. I want to honor my son and lead this company into a better future.
Bob, thank you for agreeing. I am so sorry about your son. Yes, he had a very good heart. I believe that him and I could have done a lot of good together. I picked the right person to hand the company over to. You and I will work together to use the money for good. We'll make a scholarship up in Tim's name to be given out to the extraordinary children who cannot afford to use their gifts because of their economic background.
Cratchit smiled so big at Jesus for honoring his son this way. Scrooge just took all of this in, watching the people who he hurt so much still want to show him kindness. For the first time in his life, Scrooge was completely humbled and speechless.
Spirit, please tell me that I can go back and change the future where Tim is alive, and I can work with my great nephew to make my company into what they are talking about. I want a better future. Please, I want a better future.
Scrooge grabs onto the ghost leaves, pleading with him, and did not notice that the boardroom vanished away. And he's on his knees on his bed, grabbing onto the sheets, still pleading. He suddenly realized where he was. He let go of the sheet and looked around the room. The ghost was gone, and daylight was just creeping up over the city.
Act 3, Scene 1. Still in Scrooge's bedroom.
I can change. I'm going to change. I need to start right away.
Scrooge walks over to the window in his bedroom. He pulls up the window and looks out. Sunrise is just coming over the city. Everything looks peaceful. He sees a man walking by Jacket, pulled up around him, rushing to get somewhere out of the cold.
You, there, excuse me. I can't seem to find my phone anywhere. Do you know what day it is?
Are you crazy? Have you been living under a rock? Today is Christmas Day.
Wow, they did that all in one night? The spirits, they could do that? They're very powerful. Yes, I guess I've been living under a rock when it comes to Christmas. Well, not anymore. Thank you, kind sir. Tell me, are the stores open here on this day?
Of course. People always need last-minute gifts. Most stores have been open now on Christmas Eve today for 24 hours straight.
Perfect. Thank you.
Scrooge pulls back from the window and starts to get dressed. He also finds his phone and starts making phone calls. First, he calls the Wise Men group and told their offices to cease and desist on going after baby Jesus. Second, he went online to do some research and he found several charities that he is going to start to give to. And finally, third, he looked up clinical trials to get Tim into for his medical issues. Then after all of that, he grabbed his phone and jacket and walked out the front door of his townhouse to run some errands. But first he needed to make one last phone call.
Scene 2. At the same time, across town at Stable Hospital in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Paging Dr. White. Dr. White, call your office. Dr. White, call your office.
Mary and Joseph and the baby are enjoying some quiet time after many visitors have left. Suddenly, Joseph's phone begins to ring. He looks at the caller ID and sees that it is his uncle.
It is my uncle. He never calls me, especially on Christmas Day.
It can't be good. Not after what we heard from those lawyers he sent.
You are right. I'm going to tell him once and for all. Uncle, how dare you call me after what you have done? How I have given you chance after chance, but threatened to kill my own son over money. I don't even want... Is the last straw. I want you out of my life for good.
Nephew, you are absolutely right. I have been horrible against the only family I have left. It is unforgivable. But I'm calling to let you know that I have called off my lawyers about Jesus. I want him to be my hire. I want to make up for everything I have ever done, even if it takes the rest of my life.
What? I can't believe it. What angle are you going for now?
No angle. In fact, there is a young boy, the son of my sister Bob Cratchit. Him, Jesus need to meet when Jesus gets older. They're going to be remarkable people. I feel together they're going to change the world.
What has changed you, Uncle? You sound like a different man.
I can't really explain it all, but let's just say that I've had my eyes open, and I vow to be a changed man. I hope you can forgive me and be by my side.
Uncle, you sound serious, and I believe you, yes. I will be by your side, and I know that Jesus is going to change the world. I am glad we could help him do it together.
Scrooge and Joseph continued talking for a while, making more plans. They brought Mary into the conversation, but at first she was skeptical. But soon she could hear in his voice that he had changed. Scrooge ended his call to Joseph and then went shopping.
Scene 3. After shopping all morning, Scrooge made his way to Bob Cratchit's house.
Scrooge walked up to the front door of Bob Cratchit's house. His arms were full of holding many shopping bags. He had been to ShopRite, Walmart, Target, and Best Buy. The man was right. Everything was open. He has presents for the kids and food for the family. He lays the bag down on the side out of sight. He knocks on the door. Bob Cratchit opens the door, surprised to see his boss standing there.
Mr. Scrooge, what are you doing here?
What am I doing here? The question is, what are you doing here? Should you be at work? I've been waiting for you to come in the office all morning. When I realized you was not coming, I decided instead of calling you to come to your house and tell you in person.
But sir, it is Christmas Day. You gave me the day off.
Don't interrupt me. I came to your house in person.
I can't believe you. I get 1 day off a year. You come here to drag me back to the office? Well,
to tell you in person that I'm making you my partner in business.
Quit. Wait, what?
I'm telling you that you are so invaluable to me. I appreciate you so much. I never told you, and I'm sorry. You have stayed when you couldn't have left me years ago. I am making you my partner. You will have your own office, new salary, health insurance, and stocking company.
Oh my goodness. Is this a joke? I can't believe it.
Believe it. Also, I have a wonderful Christmas feast here behind the door and presents for your children. Bob, would you do me a favor and have a Christmas meal with me? Merry Christmas, Bob.
As Scrooge comes in the front door carrying some of the bags from outside, the rest of the Cratchit family gathers around. Bob is bringing the rest of the bags. The children start running around excited for the presents. Mrs. Cratchit brings the food bags into the kitchen. Tiny Tim approaches Scrooge tentatively.
Yes, can I help you?
I knew you were a good person inside.
Scrooge picks up the small child and looks at him.
Tim, thank you for believing me. I found some clinical trials that will accept him, and we will work together to get this boy healthy. He has a long, bright future ahead of him, and I want him and my great-nephew Jesus to change the world.
Cratchit and Mrs. Cratchit are openly weeping now. Then Tim's turn to face everyone and says the only thing that could be said at this time.
God bless us, everyone.
Scrooge did it all, and then some. He became the uncle that Joseph deserved, a boss that Cratchit deserved, and a man that the city deserved. And when he died, his old partner Jacob Marley saw that Scrooge did not have one chain at all around his body.